While I'm waiting for carburetor parts, I thought I would just give this thing the once over, clean it up. There's plenty of rust on here. I'll have to take these rubber paddles off maybe and brush some of the rust off of the wheel, the auger. Degrease it a little bit. There's some grease forming on the inside. Go over it with a little soap and water, a wire brush, let it dry out, throw some paint on it, and when I'm done I'll be able to put the carb on, put the new scraper plate on the bottom. There's a lot of rust down there. Hopefully rebuild the carburetor and throw that on. Once I'm done with that, it'll be all set for the winter. This is just some engine gunk I'm going to use to get some of that grease and oil out of there. Just sort of paint sticks. There's no grease and oil all over the place. Alright, I'm going to take the rubber paddles off. Started to have some audio problems with this video, so I'm going to do a little voiceover. Begin with taking off the rubber paddles. Each of these screws has to come off. Use a ratchet to loosen that first one, and then I use the power screwdriver to drill to get the rest, because then I had more room. You can use that when you're taking them off, but when you're putting them on, you probably should just do it by hand. Because it's rubber, you can over tighten it and go right through. So I took these all out, took the rubber paddles off so I can get at the rust underneath. Like that. Yeah, I continue to take off the rubber paddles. The drill driver really made it easier. Zip through all the screws, take them off. You can see the buildup of rust. I was able to get most of that rust off later. Well, they're all off. Well, you can see all the rust on this thing, especially on the bottom. It just took a little while to get it all off. It's kind of hard to get to a lot of it. You had to use several different methods. Wire brush connected to the drill, hand wire brush, using an extension on the drill. Several different methods. Here I'm using the first method by hand. A lot of the rust is not deeply embedded into the metal, so the metal wasn't too damaged. But taking it off was important before I had to coat it with some paint, so it took me a while. On the bottom, very, very rusty. Here I switched to the wire brush connected to the drill, obviously. This was good until I had to get to the back where I needed a longer extension. This really works good. You gotta watch for flying pieces of metal wire off of these brushes. You gotta wear eye protection, and long sleeves is a real good idea. Oh, in order to get deeper in there, I put one of these extensions. Here I add the extension. This was a real nice little tool that I had in my box. I never used it much, and then it really came in handy here. Get way back in there, get all the rust off where it was building up. Was able to get in the back. I didn't want to remove this auger. It's not that easy to do. Plus, where the auger is connected on the side you can't see, it's a big pulley and it's connected, and it's very hard to get off. Here I switch to my angle grinder with the wire brush attachment. Real easy to use on the other side, on the bottom where the rust was built up heavily. I use this to really finish off the job. Again, eye protection is absolutely necessary. So, cleaned all the rust off. Now you can see where I got most of the rust off, and I'm just showing you how well it came off, and I was able to work my way around the snowblower up on top. There was also some rust. Then I'll prime it and paint it. Maybe it'll last a couple more years. I'm just going to take a little soap. There's some grease buildup inside. I don't know how it got in there. Some kind of oil deposits. The paint won't stick, so I had to get that off with some soap and water, basically, and a brush. I think that the oil came from the motor somehow. Later I took the muffler off. I think the gasket on the muffler was leaking oil from the exhaust, which is got a lot of oil in it since it's a 2-cycle engine. I just continue to clean this and make sure that it has a clean surface for the paint to stick.